Russian ice hockey players here in the U.S. are facing some heat over the events in Ukraine. Meg Hilling spoke with an NHL player agent about the impact the conflict is having on and off the ice.
As the sports world responds to Russia's attacks on Ukraine, Russian NHL hockey players are having to navigate thin ice.
They say that sport should not be within the politics, but unfortunately, it's been all about the politics.
Daniel Milstein is a political refugee turned business mogul from Ukraine, who happens to represent some of the biggest names in the NHL, many of whom are Russian.
For you to basically call them racist, for you to call them aggressors or Russian pigs go back home or whatever else is totally unacceptable.
In recent days, Milstein says many of his Russian clients have received hateful and derogatory messages on social media, directing them to leave North America and in some cases, wishing them death.
The same people that are basically promising to name their children after the guys that had won the Stanley Cup for their cities are the very same people that want death or wish death to the very same guys.
Milstein says his clients are receiving these threats regardless of whether or not they've spoken out against Russia's attacks in Ukraine. A personal decision Milstein says these players are not making lightly.
Guys, they're hockey players. They're good people. They are in an extremely difficult situation. They might be here in the country with their wives, but their families, their parents are back home.
Rick Westhead of the Sports Network reported that some NHL agents are advising their Russian clients to be careful in speaking out, as the Russian parliament is considering a new law that could mean up to 15 years in prison for spreading fake news about the war. This wouldn't be the first time Russian hockey players have been met with the threat of repercussions for speaking out against President Vladimir Putin and his government. In 2021, New York Rangers winger Artemi Panarin was hit with allegations by a Russian tabloid that he assaulted a woman in Russia in 2011. These allegations surfaced after Panarin had previously spoken out against Putin and had shown support for his political rival, Alexei Navalny.
My clients aren't bombing anybody right now. My clients are contributing members to our society at home, here in the United States and Canada, and also in Russia and other countries as well.
In response to the attacks on Ukraine, the International Ice Hockey Federation says it's banned Russia and Belarus's national teams from all international competition for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, the NHL says it's suspended its relationships with Russian businesses and is extending support to its Russian players.
They've been providing the counseling, the emotional support, and most importantly, the protection for the families of our players. And so we're very grateful. The league has done a phenomenal job.
But Milstein says he's concerned that young Russian players looking to get drafted to junior leagues in Canada and the U.S. later this year may be wrongly overlooked because of where they're from.
Don't be picking an individual 16-year-old kid. A good kid hasn't murdered anybody. He hasn't done anything wrong. This kid is all about playing hockey, being a good athlete, and being a contributing member to society. Don't punish him for the big boys' actions.
A move he says would be detrimental for the future of the sport.
Perhaps we would never see the next Nikita Kucherov or Andrei Vasilevsky or Pavel Datsuk, because they may or may not get the same development opportunity as if they played here.
Meg Hilling, Newsy.
Of the 41 Russian-born players currently in the NHL, only 2 have spoken out about the war in Ukraine. Now, that number is not likely to grow since the threat of consequences in Russia are so great.